Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm here still at the Javits Center for the 2023 New York Auto Show. And guess what? We had to stop at the Volkswagen booth because they have something all new and a surprise of the show. This is it. This is a 2024 Volkswagen Atlas. But guess what? This is not your regular Atlas. This is a special Peak Edition. But before I let you see inside and get a sneak peek of this Peak Edition, see what I did there? Let's talk about what's going on here. Volkswagen. They're making some changes to the lineup. Obviously, they're focusing also on electrification with the ID4, the ID Buzz right behind me that's going to be coming very, very soon to a Volkswagen dealership near you, and the also new ID7. Now, what's interesting is that with this Atlas being a midsize three-row SUV, many of their competitors have been doing some redesigns, like the Pilot, the new Mazda CX-90. What Volkswagen decided to do was focus on what was really strong and change up some of the other things that people really wanted to see change. What I want to find out is, if you're looking for a new midsize three-row SUV, is this Peak Edition the one you should be getting, especially if you're looking at something like a Palisade XRT or the Telluride with that off-road spec? So let's go ahead, let's dive in, find out what's unique, what's special, and if it's the one. Let's check it out. Right off the bat, you're gonna notice one of two special colors. It's called avocado green. And what I like about it is that it's not like avocado guacamole in your face. It's a beautiful, metallic, lighter shade of green that really showcases the body lines of the Atlas. Now, at the front of the business, you're gonna see a refresh across the lineup. We brought you at the Chicago Auto Show two of those refreshes. This one has a refresh, but with specific touches. Of course, you're gonna get that all new LED lighting. So you have your LED daytime running lamps, turn signals, and headlights. And I really am digging how the daytime running lamp runs along the front. And then of course, the Volkswagen badge. Fahrvergnügen, the people's car, all together looking great. You're not gonna miss that coming down the road. Now on this Peak Edition, you're gonna notice a very unique style to the front fascia. So we have some flat metallic silver and then some flat black. I am gonna have to zonk this area. Even though it looks aggressive, even though it looks good, I would have liked to seen some LED fog lamps or make this a functional corner air curtain. Let me know how you feel about this lower area. Now, as we come across the front, what do we got going on? Like I said, that Volkswagen badge, Volkswagen's been around since the 1930s, if you could believe that. We have our chrome that is horizontal, two parts of it, and then you're gonna have gloss black that follows all the way down. Functionality up top, functionality down below, and on this Peak Edition, you'll see the flat silver with the flat black, especially because over time that's gonna wear a little bit better, because hopefully what Volkswagen wants you to do is go off-road with it and go through those paths that maybe are less traveled. Now, what's fascinating is that you'll see the X design. You see how we have this gloss black trim that comes down? Same style on here, that's that X design shape. And what's fascinating is that if you were at SEMA with us last year, what you would know is that, guess what? They actually had this vehicle as a concept at the SEMA show. How cool is that? And now here it is as a production model. Now, hood still is the same as last year. You're gonna get that nice, crisp line. It's like taking fresh linen and it just has a nice, crisp edge to it. Underneath the hood is the biggest talking point, no more V6. So previously you could have an inline-4 turbocharged engine and a V6 option. Now underneath the hood, no more V6. It's a new 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine putting out 269 horsepower, which is actually more horsepower than the V6. And it's still bolted to that 8-speed automatic. And of course, on the Peak Edition, you're gonna have that 4Motion. What does that mean? All-wheel drive. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire. You're gonna get the specific tire and wheel combination. Now, first of all, you'll notice the Y-spoke design, gloss black all the way around, 18-inch wheel specific to the Peak Edition. And what you're gonna find, these Continental off-road cross-contact tires. Now, The way that you know that they're off-road is that you have your shielding protection on the sidewall, gives it not only a nice rugged look, but that's gonna help from getting any kind of punctures as you're going off-road. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tires? 255 on the width, meaty 60 series sidewall, and you can see how they reworked the suspension just to give a little bit different setup as you're going off-road. Now, on this model, you do have the flat black around the fender openings. I think it's a good idea, especially if you're going to use this more in an off-road situation. I'm kind of thinking myself personally, I would like to see avocado green also on the fender openings, but that's just me. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. Now, as we go down the side, you'll notice that crisp line just trickles nicely into the badge, and this is going to be an easy way to identify it. Peak Edition, you got the mountain range in the background. That's actually the Andes where they tested this Volkswagen Atlas. They wanted to pay respect to that area. A little bit of gloss black, both on the badge and on the mirror cap. Of course, you're gonna have your LED turn signals. Up top, you have these raised satin black roof rails. And of course, what Volkswagen wants you to do is get that accessory catalog out. Get the crossbars, get yourself a cargo basket, a kayak holder, a mountain bike holder. Anything that you want to put up there, you have that ability. And I like the way they're raised roof rails. The reason why is when you're doing your tie downs and stuff, it's easy to get it around the raised roof rail rather than the ones that are flush with the roof line. Now you do have color matched on the door handles, so that's a nice touch with that avocado green, of course. The other special color for the Peak Edition is this like boulder gray color, which also looks stunning as well. Along the bottom, you're gonna have the flat black with the silver, the flat silver that matches that treatment on the grille. And then coming all the way back, I've always liked how they work the body line. Right around the fenders, into the taillight, super clean. And then coming around back, of course, you're gonna have that same roof spoiler, gloss black on the shark fin antenna. The one thing I just wish they would do, especially now with the new lighting, is get rid of this. Put this underneath. There's plenty of room here. Whoop. Make it disappear. It would clean it up, so we have to zonk that, but I'm not zonking the lighting. Look at this. The Volkswagen badge illuminated in red, LED lighting. Of course, this is an SEL trim for the Peak Edition. And then you'll notice as we come down, you got on the passenger side your 4Motion. That lets you know that this comes with all-wheel drive, which makes sense if it's gonna be more of an off-road spec. And as we come all the way down, you do have a different lower bumper area, but here's the problem. WTF, WTH, Volkswagen, this should be functional. It looks good with this chrome trim ring, but they're non-functional. It breaks my heart. And then on top of that, they did this grille design, which they could have just kept that smooth, but the good news is you do have towing capability, all fully hooked up with the Volkswagen badge on it to let you know that's factory installed. Tow capacity, 5,000 pounds with this Peak Edition. But why don't we go ahead, let's take a peek inside this Atlas and see what's special. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Peak Edition Volkswagen Atlas. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm really digging this thing. It looks much more purposeful, and I really like the color combo. How much is it? Now, official pricing isn't available yet, but think about what an Atlas costs now, and it's gonna be pretty much close to that when you look at an SEL trim, but we'll have the full numbers coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Of course, right now she's talking to me through the infotainment system, and I will get to that in a second, but I'm not ready to talk to you yet, so shh. But let's see how it compares to the competition and what's special, and of course, the price. We will bring that to you very soon, so stay tuned for that. But let's see what you get when you go Peak Edition to the door panels. I like what they've done. That beautiful textured material, a little bit of silver trim, the gray with the black and the orange works out perfectly. No gloss black, and then check out that door pocket. Easily gonna put 3 New York style bagels in there and a couple cannolis as well. Now going from the door panel to the dash, you'll get more of that great trim. And what I can't show you on camera is, you see where it says Peak Edition with this cool design? That actually illuminates at night. Very, very cool to have that kind of lasered in lighting effect. You do have ambient lighting that runs along the bottom It's a little hard to pick up because we're at the auto show, but I promise you it's there. That's specific to the Peak Edition. I love the way they do the gray leather, perforated with the stitching, just a little splattering of gloss black over here. And then as you come in, you're getting that new massive 12.3-inch infotainment system. It is that iPad style, but it's very low. I mean, look where the dash line is and where the top of this is. It's not gonna block your sight. You could go into your vehicle settings. Obviously, there it is. Get into all the different readouts, like the way it's got the graphics and everything. The one thing I do have to zonk is that there's no physical buttons. So you do have those haptic switch gear for your AC and stuff, but no actual buttons or knobs. Of course, you got your full navigation, which is great, and it's that large screen. Now, working your way down, here's how you access the different parts of the infotainment system. So you hit mode, and it brings up your different modes: sport, comfort, eco, the whole shabam, and of course, off-road, since this is more of an off-road spec. And hey, if you live here in New York, you're gonna use snow mode, I promise you that. Back down below, you do have your wireless charging, 2 USB-Cs, and a place for at least 4 atomic fireballs. This is gonna control that 8-speed automatic new selector setup with the electric shifter, 2 cup holders. It's a little gloss black heavy here. Down below, you have enough room for a purse, a merce, a sack, a satchel, even a loaf of bread. So you got plenty of room down there. We have an area for 2 Twinkies, and then the leather with the stitching, lift it up. Look at this, another USB-A in here, and you could easily put, I would say, 12 Beanie Babies in there. So if you're saving your Beanie Babies to sell them on eBay so that you could retire one day, you could keep them in there so your dog doesn't get a hold of them and think it's one of its toys. Seats, special, stitching, material, design specific to the Peak Edition, nice soft bolstering, power assist for the passenger, power assist for the driver, and a panoramic sunroof with an electric shade. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the special steering wheel in the Peak Edition. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel of this Atlas Peak Edition. Dropping it down, you do get a nice aluminum sill plate, and I always love the pedal box on a Volkswagen product. You have a nice large aluminum dead pedal, brake pedal, and throttle. And then of course your seat controls, easy to get to, including the memory seat settings, which you have a total of 3. So you could let 2 other people borrow this if you're crazy enough and trust them enough. Plenty of room in the Atlas. That's never been an issue. And definitely the steering wheel has never looked better. Leather wrapped, flat bottom with the Peak Edition badge. Looking good, nothing too gaudy. That updated Volkswagen logo. You do have paddles on the back of the wheel to go up and down the 8-speed automatic. And of course, we have that nice large digital gauge cluster, which has a ton of readouts that you could bring up. And then on top of that, going back to the infotainment system, I could actually adjust all my AC controls, including the heated and ventilated seats. So you got 3 stages of both, which is really nice. And that makes it real easy to access, and it's super clear graphics, but I would like some knobs, please, some knobs and some buttons. But let's get into the mid-row and see if your passengers are gonna be happy that you went Peak with the Atlas. All right, guys, here we are in the mid-row. Lots of room, and that's one thing is with the shape of the Atlas, even backseat passengers like myself that are 6 feet tall, I'm comfortable up front, I'm comfortable in the back, and of course the shade will slide even further so I could also get the glass roof as well. Now, backs of the seats, that wonderful leather. I like the way they paid attention to detail with the stitching. You do have pockets on both sides. They're a little tight. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you could put 4 to 5 breadsticks from your favorite, Johnny's down on 46th Street in Manhattan. You could put about 4 of those big, huge Italian breadsticks that he has in those back seats. Speaking of back seat, look at this command center. AC vents, you got your climate control, and down below you got USB-Cs and a home power source. The only thing I don't like, which I'm gonna look around here, is no ventilated or heated seats for the mid-row. I don't know, if I'm climbing a mountain in this thing, it might get a little chilly and I might need a seat heater. So just something to think about. You do have, of course, your manual shades that lock in very easily so nobody can see what we're doing. I'm making faces at all these people. They don't even know. Seats are great. They actually can recline, which is really nice, just like that. And then of course, armrest. Now I am gonna zonk it because it's more of a cup rest. There's not enough armrest for my arm. So we are gonna have to zonk that. But I do love the way they did the seats, just like up front. And then I'm not gonna jump in the third row. We're gonna bring that to you when we do the drive, but we're gonna move this out of the way. 1, 2, 3, open sesame. There is your third row, and they did the same great job with the seats. Cup holders, no USB-Cs though. So that's something to think about, but they did a great job with the material on the seats. But why don't we go ahead, since we're talking about cargo and this back area, let's see how much room there is in this Atlas. All right guys, cargo area time, you hit the button. Nice electric assist, rises up nicely. I wanted to leave the third row up just to let you see how much room there is with the third row. Very generous amount of space. You do have these large areas, both on the driver and the passenger side, to put your dirty mountain climbing boots, all your gear so you don't get the carpet messed up. There is a 12 volt on the driver's side as well. And of course, some people don't think we ever show this, but we do. The third row has these very fancy headrests that rise up. And the great news is, I know one of Lori's favorite things is that the headrests go down so it doesn't block your view. So for those out there, like I said, who never thought we'd show those headrests in the third row, there they are on both sides. 1, 2, and they go up really high. I just don't want to lock them into place. And you could go like this and leave one up and one down, or you could put both of them down. And then on top of that, watch this, real easy. 1, 2, buckle your shoe. 3, 4, those things hit the floor. Check it out. Now we maximize our space. That mid row has a 60-40 split, which then goes down even further. That is really nice accessibility. But let me know what you think about this Atlas Peak Edition. No, I really didn't need to look at that to know what this is because we've been talking about it. But let me know what you think. Do you like the direction that Volkswagen went with this vehicle? A lot of brands, Nissan, Honda, Kia, Hyundai, they're all doing this little like spec upgrade to bring more of an off-road style to it. This isn't a rock crawler. You're not going to climb, Denali Mountain or anything like that, Mount Denali, but it's one of those things where it gives you a little bit more flexibility, especially with the 4Motion and more horsepower out of that new power plant. But let me know what you think. Is this the new SUV you'd want to park in your garage? I'm dying to read those comments. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. Of course, we got to thank it to the muscle behind the lens, Lori, questioning everything, and for very good reason, working super hard. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do and that third row action. That was definitely stupendous in this review. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.